You have to admit it, for 75, the Stratocaster still looks awesome. What's going on, my friends? I'm Sean Pierce Johnson, and welcome back to the channel, where today we're in for another installment of Year of the Strat. And this is a pretty special one. I totally didn't plan this out, but we just so happened to be in the 75th year of the Stratocaster's existence. And today we are looking at the Made in the USA 75th Anniversary Commemorative Startocaster. Now, I say made in the USA because there were actually two versions of this guitar made. One made in Fender's Mexico facility and one made in the USA facilities. Now, I personally happen to like the USA version a little bit better than the made in Mexico version, not just because it's a more expensive guitar and it's inherently better, but I really feel like the American version really does put forth a lot of cool things that Fender introduced with the American Pro II series, but puts a few other things and a few classy touches on the guitar that just make it a really cool marriage of a classy looking Stratocaster with some modern appointments for the modern guitar player. Now, as opposed to the previous Fender Stratocasters that we've looked at in this series, which had alder bodies, the 75th Anniversary Strat has an ash body, and just look at that grain underneath this two-color bourbon burst finish. This is just an incredibly classy guitar. The finish is absolutely beautiful. Now, you may be surprised to know that the neck and fingerboard are made from one piece of maple. That's actually something that they go so far as to list in the specs on the Fender website. But we also have a cool little nod to the past with the skunk stripe on the back of the neck. And you'll also notice that it has the carved out neck heel, just like the American Pro IIs, which I really love. And there is a little bit of a nod to the 75th anniversary in the 75th anniversary heel badge. Our maple neck has 22 medium jumbo frets with a bone nut, and one of my favorite things about it, the inclusion of these beautiful Fender locking tuners on the headstock with pearl buttons. And of course, in addition to the locking tuners, we also have a 75th anniversary badge on the back of the headstock. One final note about the headstock, you may notice the string tree on it. This is a different string tree than we've seen on the Noventa series that we looked at a little bit ago, and it's also different than the one that is on the American Pro II. This one has a little bit of a roller vibe, as it were. It's not completely encasing the string. There's a little channel that's carved into the post for the strings to run underneath it. It's just different, and we're going to see if it makes a difference with tuning stability. I suppose it might. Working our way now to the electronics, we are treated to a trio of Fender Custom Shop Fat 60s pickups, and man, oh man, do these things sound fantastic. We get the classic treatment of the Fender Stratocaster electronics with a 5-way blade selector, master volume, tone, and tone. The top tone control is actually wired to the neck and the middle position pickup, and then the bottom one is wired only to the bridge. Now, I'm sure you all have noticed by now that this thing is outfitted with gold hardware, and that includes the modern 6-saddle Fender whammy bar, which of course has the pop-in whammy bar arm, which of course you just place right down in the cavity, give it a good push down, and boom, there you go. And as if this classy package weren't enough, Fender has gone and done something pretty darn awesome. You do get a hard shell case included with the Made in the USA Commemorative Startocaster. However, it's not black with a red interior. It's Inca silver with a Lake Placid blue interior. I mean, come on, look at this thing. It is just so plush and so cool. How could you deny the cool factor and the beauty of this whole package? And for those of you keeping score at home, knowing that this is a limited edition thing, you do indeed get a Fender Certificate of Authenticity for your 75th Anniversary Stratocaster. Top it all off with a mint green pickguard, aged white plastic parts for both the whammy bar tip, the pickup switch tip, and the 3 volume controls. Man, guys, this thing is just, come on. It's so classy, it's so beautiful, it looks incredible, and we just need to make sure that it sounds as equally incredible. So let's do it. First, with the clean tones, let's plug into that Hughes & Kettner Black Spirit 200 with just a little bit of reverb and have ourselves a good, clean, fun time. And now we switch over to the orange Rock Reverb 100 for all that citrusy, saturated, distorty goodness. Absolutely love the sound of these custom shop pickups. These are probably my favorite Fender pickups that I've ever heard, and I really like the V mods in the Am Pro II, but there's just something about these. The vibe just really works. And with the 60s theme kind of in mind, why don't we sample some more sounds with the 75th Anniversary Stratocaster, leaning more towards psychedelic 60s rock, and then we'll modernize it just a little bit. with that, my friends, our look at the Made in the USA 75th Anniversary Startocaster is at an end. If you want something that is a little bit classy and a little bit classic, but is a little bit more modern than, say, a vintage reissue Stratocaster, this may be the one that you want to take a look at. I've already gushed enough about these pickups, but I really do feel like this gets a great marriage of classic tones with classic looks, but a modern sensibility and playability. Now, on the American Pro II that I've played predominantly over the course of the last few months, the tone controls are arranged ever so slightly different, but I actually preferred this arrangement on the 75th Anniversary Strat. Normally, I always want to darken the bridge pickup just a little bit to get rid of that ice-picky high end, but I want to keep the neck and the middle pickup with a little bit more brightness, something that can really get that classic quacky position 4 tone, and of course that bell-like neck pickup, and I tend to leave the tone on 10 almost all the time. So this arrangement I like a little bit better than that on the American Pro II. And of course with the whammy bar, it functions just as smoothly as the whammy bar on the American Pro II because they're basically the same thing. It comes stock with 3 springs, and I feel like that's the magic spot of Strat whammy bars. It does stay in tune pretty darn well with a few instances of knocking things out of tune here and there, but it is floating, and I find that if that happens, I just give a quick little tug, pulling the strings sharp, and it usually puts things right back in relative tune. Honestly, there's nothing bad I can say about this guitar. It plays really well, it sounds fantastic, and it just looks absolutely beautiful. The only critique that I can really give it, and it's very, very small, is really more if you're a collector of these kind of instruments, which I imagine most people that are interested in this particular Strat are. When I was testing out this guitar initially, I wanted to make sure that the whammy bar functioned exactly like I would want it to. After all, I'm kind of searching for the main Stratocaster, if you will. And so when I pulled out the whammy bar, I was a little dismayed to find that by pushing it into and pulling it out of the whammy bar assembly, some of the gold plating on the whammy bar arm just underneath, you're not gonna see it cosmetically all the time, but if you're someone who's a collector and wants to keep things in great condition all the time, and obviously you're not gonna store your Stratocaster in the case with the whammy bar in it, you're gonna need to take it out. It's just kind of disheartening to see the gold plating coming off so easily with such basic operation. Really, does that mean anything as far as playability and tone? No, it's a simple, silly little cosmetic thing that once the whammy bar is in the guitar, you don't see it. So is this a Strat only for the collector? Absolutely not. If you have the means, maybe you're someone who liked the American Pro II series, but maybe there were some specs about it that you didn't quite enjoy. You wanted something more akin to classic Stratocaster tones rather than trying to bring Stratocaster tones to a more modern sensibility. These fat 60s pickups are going to do exactly that. The functionality of the guitar plays almost identically to the American Pro II. And then, of course, if you're the modern player who just wants a classy looking guitar for those times where you need to be a little bit more classy, this is a great modern Stratocaster, and I can't really say much more than that. Now, some of you may have astutely noted that I elected to leave the sticker on the pickguard, and that's purely because I don't know how this guitar is going to work into my guitar arsenal. I love the way that it sounds and I love the way that it plays, but am I gonna wanna keep it out of the case all the time? And if I elect to leave it in the case, is it something that I'm gonna put in the case and put it in the closet so that it stays in this beautiful condition for years and years to come as a collector's item? Or am I gonna pull it out every so often for when I need that very specifically 60s Stratocaster tone? I don't really know, but I know I had a whole lot of fun checking it out and a whole lot of fun making this video for you guys, and I hope you all watching enjoyed it as well. If you did, please let me know by leaving me a comment in the comment section below. And of course, if you really loved this video, I would love it if you gave it a thumbs up, shared a link to it with a friend of yours that plays guitar as well. But the most important thing you can do for me is clicking the subscribe button and ringing the notification bell. The more support I get for this channel, the more stuff like this that we can do. Thank you so much for all of your support and all of your kind words over the course of the last several months. I hope you all are doing well. And until we see each other next, my friends, I'm Sean Pierce Johnson, wishing you all watching great tone, great health, and of course, happy stomping. Cheers, friends. I'll see you in the future. God bless.